morning, YouTube. Good morning, YTPC. Before I get started, I like to get something out of my system and share it with y'all. Here it goes. Where do I take this pain of mine? I run, but it stays right by my side. Tell me open, call me out. The things inside that scream and shout, and the pain still hates me. So hold me until I sleep. Just like the curse, just like a stray. Feed it once, now it stays. Now it stays. So tell me open, but beware. The things inside without a care. And the dirt still stains me. So hold me until I'm clean. It grips you so. So tell me how you've chosen me. Don't want your breath, don't want your greed. Don't want it. Tell me open up you want. No more can you hurt anyone. And the grit still saves me. So hold me until it sleeps. It grips you slowly. It stays you slowly. It grips you slowly. It holds you, holds you, holds you. Till it sleeps. Inside without a care, and the place still stains me. So hold me unclean until me open up the world. No longer do hurt anymore, and the hate still stains me. So hold me until it's me. All right, everybody. What's happening out there in the YTPC? What's happening out there, everybody in the YouTube world? I've been battling a lot of things here lately, both mentally and emotionally, and for some reason that song just seems to fit for some reason, and I just had to get that out of my system. Title of The uh, video is let's have a chat about dealing with depression, I think is what I titled it. Kind of wanted to go for that Blue Oyster Cult look today. You know, that I can't remember the name of that singer from that band, but you never saw that dude without a pair of sunglasses, you know, and kind of had like a beard, you know, and stuff. Of course, also figured the reason why he wore sunglasses is he didn't want no one to see him chink eye from as many drugs as he was probably doing. As by the way, I ain't, you know, doing nothing. But anyway, do a little housekeeping here. I'm smoking out of my London, England pipe here, and in it, I'm smoking some Crunchy Blend by Fowlin. It's a beautiful, beautiful blend. You ain't never tried it? Order yourself some. It is totally awesome. Got a few things to show. Ain't much, but got a few things to show. Excuse me while I light up here. Old school style. And drinking some good old fashioned Folgers coffee with a little milk and sugar. But anyways, been kind of dealing with some few mental and emotional issues, and a few things that's been going on in my life. Once in a while, you know, everybody has a little breakdowns once in a while, and I just happen to been having a long one. You know, I suffered with depression ever since I was young, a young boy. Oh, by the way, just in case anybody's tuning in, I just like to say that I don't have the other monitor thing on to read conversations. So if you want to make a reply, try to make it really short, even if it's just that little hello. And anyways, you know, when it comes to depression, a lot of people don't. I mean, I'm not college educated. I barely made it through high school. I tried my hand at trying to be an entrepreneur, a young entrepreneur at that, and it didn't quite work out. And then through a lot of trial and error, jobs here and there, you know, odd jobs and everything, and then I ended up working in retail, and like it's kind of crazy, but it's like I think I learned more about how to deal with my own personal depressions, um, working in retail, believe it or not, because it kind of threw me into a loop of where I had to learn how to deal with a lot of things at once. And I figured, in between some of the advice that my mother had given me through the years and stuff, welcome, viewer. Thank you. And, anyways, I kind of, I took and learned how to adapt things to try to do things to keep my mind occupied and off of the things that are causing me to feel certain ways and everything. But mixed in with that is a lot of anxiety too. I think I've noticed here in the recent I've developed more anxiety issues than I have in my entire life. And some of that's caused me to have a few subconscious self conscious issues and problems. Some of it's even affected relationships big time, as well as my decision in relationships and people. But I think I found also that's why I am the type of person that enjoys keeping to myself majority of the time, and why I don't like to really be around too many people, especially people I don't know or people that I ain't too for sure are going to get me. But working in retail has kind of had forced me out of that type of feeling because I've always been the type of guy, stick me in the back and just let me do my thing. But things I've done in retail, having to help customers out and things of that nature, kind of like brought me out of that. Mostly because it was my job and it is my job to interact with people. And anyhows, I learned when I was a small boy. My mother noticed my signs of depression. Of course, my mother suffers with depression and quite a few other things. And I got a sister that suffers with quite a few things. And I think maybe mental illness might run in the family. But, I look at mental illness like this. Mental illness is mental illness. If you can somehow find a way to break the barrier in your own mind, then you've won half the battle right there. And that's important. And some things are easier said than done. They really are easier said than done. And the thing of it is, if anybody tells you, well, if you take this little pill, it's going to make you feel better, like all them psychiatrists and all them tell you. Now, I ain't saying don't take medication, okay? I mean, it helps some people, but me, I just don't believe in it. I don't. I went so long and I refused medication, because I've learned how to cope with things mentally and emotionally. Sometimes it's harder than other days. Sometimes some things are just like a bullet to the head. Metaphorically speaking. Not literally, metaphorically speaking. And I just, you know, when I was younger, they made me take these antidepressant pills. I can't even tell you what they were, but to me, the side effects were not worth what they were supposed to be doing. Because I tell you what, one of the side effects was pretty embarrassing of that medication. And I'm not going to say what that side effect was, but it's pretty embarrassing when you're a young guy in school, I'll tell you that. And then I didn't like the idea of how every time I take this stuff, either I would zonk out, or even other people I noticed I was like zombified. And not in a cool way neither, man. And I just decided right then and there, if I couldn't cope with things on my own and deal with things on my own without a narcotic, without a substance of some sort, then I would just rather die. And once again, I'm not talking about suicide. That's just freaking stupid. That's just a permanent solution for a temporary problem. Now, if you are someone out there having those type of thoughts, get help. Call somebody. I don't care who it is. You reach out and you talk to somebody. But, you know, one of the first things I try to think about after I get through the initial, well, I'm down in the dumps and blah. Once I get through that first stage of the depression, I think about who out there in the world is suffering worse than me. Now, mind you, this all is just some self-help stuff to help out those that are thinking that they can't do it on their own, or don't think they got the willpower and the strength. These are just things I want to offer up, put on the table for you to help you out. But I always think about, once I get through that first stage of depression, I think about who out there has it worse than me. Who's, you know, what's happening with my neighbors surrounding me? What's going on in the world that's worse than what I got going on? And one of the biggest things, like one of the videos I made yesterday, was singing that honor song, you know, not only for all the veterans past, future, and present that have fallen, but as well as for the ones still living and surviving, as well as dedicating it to those that have been suffering with cancers. You know, I've so far in the last 3-4 months, I have learned of several different people that have suffered with cancer or have either died from cancer. And I thought to myself, well, they're worse shape than I am. What do I have to be down about? What do I have to really be so dang sad about? I ain't one that has to worry about going to some clinic and having chemicals pumped through me or side effects from those chemicals. What do I really got to be depressed about? And that's the second step of dealing with depression without medication, is to break that mental barrier that you have within yourself. If you can break the mental barrier, you've done one half the battle. And the third part of that is to apply and repeat. And mind you, all this is easier said than done, because then you also have the emotional part that goes with it, as which is also part of the second, third, and mostly the fourth step, is to get your emotion, you know, focused in a manner in which is positive. And by doing that, you want to take the time to appreciate things in life. Excuse me, I'll reload again. Oh, dang it. I know what I'll do. Now we're cooking. That's right, you gotta find things to appreciate in life. It's so easy to see the negative things in life. So easy to see the negative things, but it's harder to find the positive in the negative. Or to look past the negative to even find the positive. And this is how you help control the emotion, as well as also break the mental barrier. You gotta reset your mind. got to rethink things. If you're the type of person that's a fast-paced person, try slowing down a bit. And if you're a slow-paced person, try speeding up just a hair bit. Do the opposite of what the feeling is telling you to do. Mostly it's some things that are comforting, but yet it's hindering us. And by doing that, you'll achieve happiness through the depression. Depression ain't always a bad thing, though. Because sometimes through depression, we also find the beauty in life as well. Because the thing that's making you depressed, that's a chapter, a story in your life that you can tell somebody about. And then when you overcame that, you can tell them how you overcame that, like I'm doing with you guys now. And so it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's not something you want in your life all the time. You know, like enjoying a good pipe with a good friend, or like me making YouTube videos and enjoying a pipe with all you fellow YTPC members, and with all of you fans everywhere. That's enjoyment to me. Making these YouTube videos is one way I deal with the depression. But I want to give everybody the real me. You know, I think so far my YouTube journey, as well as my YTPC journey, I think I've shown everybody just a little bit of every part of my life, I think. And anyhow, um, you know, it's a wonderful thing. And you know, part of also trying to find the beauty in life. You know, I'll tell you something my mom told me one time when she saw I was really struggling with some heavy stuff. She said, "Son, let me tell you something about how to appreciate the simple things in life." That's another thing, appreciating the simple things in life. She said, "You ever notice, son, when you cut a blade of grass, when you're out there mowing a yard or something of that nature, you ever notice no matter how short you cut down that single blade of grass, if you let it grow long enough, it will come back to that perfect little point at the end, always." I go, "Yeah?" She goes, "If that was done solely by man, it wouldn't work out that perfect." And I said, "Okay, so what's your point?" She goes, "The point is she goes, also don't forget God's in control." And she said, "And don't forget to have faith." And she said, and also, she said, "Don't forget to notice the small, simple things in life and appreciate them for what they really are." And she goes, "And there is where you will find beauty. There is where you will find appreciation, happiness, and joy." And did you know I contemplated on that several weeks? And I finally started seeing what she was saying and realized it not only up here, but in my heart. And another thing to help get over depression naturally is find something to do to occupy the mind, to keep you from dwelling on the things in which is hindering you. Like yesterday, I posted a short little video and I showed some earrings that I made. These ones right here. And these ones. I'm going to tell you something. Talk about resetting the mind. Camera makes them look big, but those are little bitty, almost like, I forget what they're like, almost little bitty seed beads. That was hard running that string through those beads, but it was challenging enough to deter the mind off of what was causing the sadness and causing the depression. Well, aren't those pretty? I like making earrings. I think it's really cool. And I'll even show you some of the beads. See those beads? See how small some of them are? It's challenging getting that through there. And here's the material I use, the string I use. I use sinew. As which this is imitation sinew, but it holds good. You can sew up a horse saddle with it. You can sew up a human being with it. I'm sure if you had enough of it, you could tow a car with it. I think it's the old school version of paracord, 18th century style. And you can buy it in a spool like this. And you can get them in different colors now too. It's nothing more but a fiber coated in beeswax. It lasts a very long time. It's very durable. I've sold many of clothes up with it. But occupying your mind like that will help you fight depression and get over depression naturally. Apparently I can't keep up. I was watching one of Old Berg's videos the other day when he was talking about how Old Berg can just keep on talking and still keep chooching. Almost was going to say, make a comment saying, you brag much? But then I was afraid, subconsciously I was afraid that would have been the wrong way. You know, well, I would only mean it in a joking way. And, anyways, I watch other people's videos. I watch a lot of YTPC videos. I was even watching, Mr. Taylor. I can't remember your first name, but I just remember the last name Taylor. He had a video he done the other day, I think it was. Well, he made 2 videos, and I was really watching them and listening to what the man had to say, because that man's real smart, and he got a lot of wisdom. Of course, everybody on the YTPC that I listen to, sub to, all of you have lots of wisdom, and I try to apply some of that wisdom to my life. But I was listening to Mr. Taylor, and in one of the videos I watched of his, he was talking about, you know, what the idea behind Memorial Day was. And mind you, I was still feeling the way I was feeling. And then he started talking about his friend that made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. And you know, I got thinking to myself, you know, I have got nothing to really be sad about. I have got nothing whatsoever. You know, and I made a comment on that video, you know, about when he was talking about his friend. Because it got me to really thinking. And it really helped me out. You know, so I like to say, thank you, Mr. Taylor. And then his other video, it's so weird, but and the other video I was watching of his is he had bought had a container a tin of Christmas cheer. I can't remember. You just have to watch the video. But at a tin of Christmas cheer, believe it or not, about this time last year when I first started getting into pipe smoking, I had seen the exact same tin at Strauss Tobacconist, and I was going to buy it. I almost came that close to buying that same blend, but something else caught my eye, and so I bought it instead. But when I seen him crack open that tin, and I saw how yummy that tobacco looked, and just imagine how tasty that was, even though I am more of an aromatic smoker versus non-aromatic, but I could, I bet that tobacco probably had a bit of an aromatic aroma in it. I'm gonna try to adjust this real quick. There we go. That looks a little bit better. I guess I don't look so cockeyed. And that brought joy to me watching Mr. Taylor do, and the joy he got, and then the joy I saw on his face when he cracked open that tin and was all excited. That made me smile. You know. And then I was also watching the Gray Bailey channel. I like watching old Mr. George Bruno, the Salt and the Silver. That man is a modern day scholar, master scholar in my opinion. To me, he's kind of like what Leonardo da Vinci, Socrates, Plato, all them great guys combined into one. That's kind of like what I see in that guy, when I watch him and listen to the wisdom that he shares. If you ain't never watched or subbed to the Gray Bailey channel, go sub to him. He's pretty cool. He won't steer you wrong neither. And anyways, I was watching some of his videos, and his videos really cheer me up too. And all the videos out there in the YTPC, they cheer me up. They make me happy. Because not only is it me taking part in the normal camaraderie of our beautiful hobby surrounding the pipe, but I love watching the joy that other people have. It makes me happy. And also I like to do a little show and tell. I had a friend when he found out that I had smoked a pipe, and he saw that I was using matches or a big lighter. He said, I bet I got something that you have never seen before or heard of. And I go, well, what's that? He goes, a pipe lighter. And I said, oh, I know what a pipe lighter is. He goes, oh no. He said, I'm talking about an old school Zippo pipe lighter. And I said, oh, I've seen those before. He goes, I don't think you've ever seen this one. And so I'm just sitting there thinking, well, I bet I probably have, but whatever. I'll just go along, check it out. And he whips out something that I thought at first was either a spark plug, a tool for working on a car, or like the bolt that goes into your rotor to hold your tire on. I thought that's what that was. But nah, he pops out this little thing. I'm like, what? How does this thing work? And you got this little thing right here, just like a lighter, but you open it up like this. Now I ain't got no fluid in it, but it makes a little spark. Better quit that, it might burn out the flint. But I thought that was so cool. And then to fill it up, you got this little thing here that you twist off. It's almost like those tactical knives, got that little thing there. You got to be careful when you put it back on, though. But it's wickless. It don't have a wick. I ain't never heard of that before. But there's the cotton, and he told me that. He said whenever you fill it up, he said you fill it up to where there's just a tiny little bit of a saturation that you can see barely on the top. And he said you kind of let it sit there for a little while. And he said, and if it dissipates back down and you don't see that liquid staying on the top a whole lot, he said put just a tiny dab more in there. let it sit for a little bit, and he said then put the cap back on, and he said be sure it's really good and sealed. And he said you don't got to tighten it up too much, but he said you just want to be sure it's really good and snug. And he said let it sit for a little while, and then he said and give her a test run. And he said it might be a good idea to wipe off this area and the outer part. He said because it would suck to try to light that up and your hand catch on fire. He said that was the only dangerous thing about this type. But he said it puts it directly over your bowl. He said, and he told me, he said, you get a lid. He said you set that right in the middle of your bowl like that, and he said, and you won't hardly get a char around the edge as much. And I thought that was so awesome. So got a little show and tell here. And also another thing I do is, which I did earlier, starting this video out, I had done a song by Metallica, Until It Sleeps. It's kind of been like the mood I kind of been in, and for some reason I find that song to be soothing. That might sound crazy for some folks, but I find that song to be very soothing and everything. And before I end this, I'd like to share with you another song.
Open doors so I walk inside. Close my eyes, find my place to hide. And I shake as I take it in. Let the show begin. Open my eyes to hell and close again. Well, I'm on my way to where I pray. Expose me as it takes me in its form. Twist away as I kill this world. Open doors so I walk inside. Close my eyes, find my place to hide. And I shake as I take it in. Let the show begin. Open my eyes to see hell with close once again. Don't want control. Hey, it takes me down and down and down. Set the mood. What does the light that lights this dead street? To that, just another demon that I meet. The higher you are, the farther you fall. The longer the crawl, the farther you crawl. my temple, this temple entails. Step into the house and Jack built. The higher you are, the further you fall. The longer the walk, the farther you crawl. My body, my temple, this temple entails. This is the house and Jack built. Yeah. It's a walk inside. Always looking subside. And I shake as I take the step. Let the show higher you are, the further the fall, the longer the walk, the farther you crawl. My body, my temple, this temple it takes. This is the house that Jack built. The higher you are, the further you fall, the longer the walk, the farther you crawl. My body, my temple, this temple it takes. It's I am.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, I like to say, wherever you're at in this world, may you be blessed. And I understand there's those of you out there, as someone had just made a comment that I saw, was they said they don't much particularly like rock music, and that's pretty cool. Everybody has their own type of jam that gets them through something, and that's totally awesome. And I like to say to that fan, thank you for your opinion. It was really appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I just like to say, wherever you're at in this world, may you be blessed. And I like to say to all the fans, thank you for hitting like, share, and subscribe. For all the new fans, thank you for hitting like, share, and subscribe. And for everybody that's stuck by me, and for everybody that's been there for me, in one form or another, and has also been there for Mama, I just like to say, and humbly say from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. And wherever you're at in this world, may God bless. Until next time.